Life has a way of surprising us. Sometimes these surprises are small moments of joy. Other times, they arrive as news that stops you in your tracks. My journey began with a whisper, a small lump in my neck that I had ignored for too long. My doctor's voice was calm, but the words were heavy. "It's thyroid cancer," he said. The room seemed to shrink. The air grew thick and hard to breathe. Fear is a powerful emotion. It can paralyze you and make you feel utterly alone. In that moment, I felt a deep sense of uncertainty about my future, about everything I had planned and hoped for. The days that followed were a blur of appointments and tests. Each one confirmed the reality of my situation. The cancer was real. It was growing inside me. It needed to be removed. I tried to stay strong for my family and friends. I put on a brave face during the day, but at night, when I was alone with my thoughts, the fear would return. It crept in like a shadow, filling my mind with questions. What would happen to me? Would the surgery be successful? How would my life change after this? I realized then that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. I knew I needed the best possible care. My research led me to Capital Medical Center. It was a place known for its excellent doctors and compassionate staff. I felt a small flicker of hope. Maybe this was the right path. Maybe I could get through this. Finding the right hospital is a critical step in any health journey. It is about more than just medical expertise. It is about finding a place where you feel safe and supported. A place where you can put your trust in the hands of others. This decision was the first step toward taking control of a situation that felt completely out of my hands. My search for the right surgeon ended when I met Dr. Donato Attabug. He had a kind face and a reassuring presence. He spoke to me not just as a patient, but as a person. He explained the procedure, a total thyroidectomy, in simple terms. He answered all my questions with patience and understanding. He did not sugarcoat the risks, but he filled me with confidence. In his office, I felt a sense of calm I had not felt since the diagnosis. I knew I was in the right place. I knew I had found the doctor who would guide me through this storm. Trusting your doctor is essential. It is the foundation of the healing process. The morning of the surgery arrived on August 11th, 2025. The hospital hallways were quiet as I was wheeled toward the operating room. I said goodbye to my loved ones. Their faces were a mixture of hope and worry. I tried to smile for them, to reassure them that everything would be okay. Inside, I was counting my breaths. Each one felt precious. The operating room was bright and sterile. The medical team moved with quiet efficiency. Dr. Attabug greeted me with another one of his calming smiles. He told me they would take good care of me. I held on to those words. They were my anchor in a sea of uncertainty and medical equipment. Lying on the operating table is a moment of complete surrender. You are placing your life into the hands of others. The anesthesiologist explained what would happen next. A mask would be placed over my face. I would drift off to sleep. The next step was the intubation. This is when a tube is placed down your throat to help you breathe during the surgery. It is a necessary procedure, but the thought of it can be frightening. I closed my eyes and focused on the image of a peaceful beach. I took a deep breath of the anesthetic gas. The world began to fade away into a quiet, dreamless darkness. The surgery itself was a success. Dr. Attabug and his team worked for hours. They carefully removed my entire thyroid gland, the source of the cancer. This small butterfly-shaped organ at the base of my neck was gone. While I was asleep, a battle was being fought for my health. The surgeons were meticulous. They navigated around vital nerves and blood vessels. Their skill and precision were paramount. The goal was not just to remove the cancer, but to preserve the delicate structures surrounding it. This would be crucial for my recovery and my quality of life moving forward. Waking up from anesthesia is a slow, disorienting process. I remember hearing faint, muffled voices. My throat felt incredibly sore and raw from the breathing tube. A nurse was there, speaking to me softly. She told me the surgery was over and that I had done well. I tried to speak, but only a hoarse whisper came out. A small incision on my neck was covered with a bandage. It was a physical reminder of the journey I had just been through. The first moments of consciousness were a mix of relief, pain, and gratitude. The cancer was gone. I was alive. A new chapter of my life was about to begin. My hospital stay at Capital Medical Center was a time of gentle healing. The nurses were incredibly attentive and kind. They managed my pain and checked on me constantly. I felt safe and cared for. My room was a quiet sanctuary where I could rest and recover. Friends and family visited, bringing flowers and words of encouragement. Their presence was a powerful medicine. It reminded me that I was not alone on this journey. Hospital recovery is a team effort. It involves skilled medical professionals, but it also relies on the love and support of the people who care about you. It is a time for patience and allowing your body to mend. One of the biggest changes after a thyroidectomy is starting hormone replacement therapy. Without a thyroid, my body could no longer produce the hormones needed to regulate my metabolism. My new reality involved a small pill called levothyroxine. I would have to take this pill every single day for the rest of my life. It felt like a huge responsibility. Dr. Adabug explained that finding the right dosage would be a process of trial and error. It would take time for my body to adjust. This medication was my new lifeline. It was the key to feeling normal again, to having energy, and to maintaining my overall health. The physical recovery was gradual. At first, even simple things like swallowing were difficult. My neck was stiff and sore. I moved slowly and carefully. I had to be patient with myself. My voice was weak and raspy for weeks, a common side effect of the surgery and intubation. I learned to communicate in whispers and with hand gestures. This period of forced quiet gave me a lot of time to think. It was a time for deep introspection. When your body is forced to slow down, your mind has a chance to catch up. I began to reflect on my life, my relationships, and what truly mattered to me. Leaving the hospital was a major milestone. I walked out into the fresh air, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. The world seemed brighter, more vibrant. I was a survivor. But I was also a different person. My body had been altered. My daily routine now included a pill that I could never forget. This experience had fundamentally changed me. It was not just a medical event, it was a personal transformation. The scar on my neck was a visible sign of my battle. But the invisible changes, the ones that happened in my heart and my mind, were even more significant. I was ready to embrace this new version of myself. The journey of healing extended far beyond the hospital walls. It was not just about the scar on my neck fading over time. It was about healing my heart. Facing a life-threatening illness forces you to reevaluate everything. I looked at my relationships with new eyes. I realized that life is too short for anything less than deep, authentic connections. The fear of being alone, which had once guided many of my decisions in love, seemed to disappear. I no longer felt the need to conform to traditional expectations. The surgery had removed something from my body, but it had also removed a layer of fear from my soul. This newfound clarity led me to explore different ways of loving. I had always believed in monogamy as the only path, but my brush with mortality opened my mind. I began to consider that love could be abundant and shared in many forms. The idea of polygamy, or more accurately, ethical polyamory, started to make sense. It was not about a lack of commitment, it was about an expansion of it. It was about building honest, loving relationships based on communication and mutual respect. This shift in mindset was liberating. It was a conscious choice to live and love more fully and authentically without being bound by old scripts. My relationships began to change. Some old connections faded away. They could not withstand this new, more honest version of me. But new, stronger bonds were formed. I found love that was built on a foundation of truth and acceptance. It was a love that celebrated my journey and my scars. It understood that my past had shaped me, but did not define me. This emotional transformation was just as important as my physical recovery. Healing the heart is a complex process. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. It is about creating space for a love that truly nourishes your spirit. For anyone facing a similar journey, whether it is a health crisis or an emotional one, I offer this simple advice. Be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to feel all the emotions, the fear, the anger, the hope. Lean on your support system. Do not be afraid to ask for help. And most importantly, listen to your own heart. Your journey is unique. Trust your intuition to guide you toward what is right for you. My thyroidectomy was a turning point. It taught me that from our deepest wounds can come our greatest strengths. It was a transformation of body and heart, leading me toward a life of greater health, honesty, and hope.